What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Hot Gamers Only, the show where we talk about everything that's hot in the world of games. I'm your host, Ethan, and I'm joined by, as always, the co-host with the co-host, it's Hunter. How's it going, Hunter? You doing good?
Yeah, I'm doing swell.
Nice. And then I'm also joined by the weeb wonder himself. It is Kyle. Hey, Kyle.
Happy to be here.
It's your time, dude. It's your time to shine.
Now it's kind time.
Oh God, here we go. Because yes, we were supposed to do this last week, but as you saw, you got a Persona 5 spoiler cast. You got a Final Fantasy 7 remake spoiler cast. Getting my JRPGs mixed up.
Same difference, really.
The same game. Trust me.
Japan.
You
start off killing rats, you end up slaying gods. You know.
Yeah, that's how
every JRPG is the same. Let's be real.
But yeah, as you all have probably been aware if you checked our Twitter, we were supposed to have our Xenoblade Impressions up last Monday, but then Sony announced a conference, so we pushed that back so that we could get Final Fantasy 7 Remake up in time, because it was already an old video that we needed to push out. And then everything, the world went to shit, so everything got postponed, so we're back at square one, and we're doing the exact same thing this week anyway, so, you know. Silver lining, I guess. So yeah, this week on Hot Games Only, we're going to talk about all of our first impressions of Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition for the Nintendo Switch. And then we'll move on to some other stuff like PlayStation predictions for this conference that was supposed to happen that we can now talk about this week because nothing changes. And then if it doesn't happen this week, hey, at least you got the predictions. You can just say, move them 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the future, whatever's happening. But yeah, as always, we come together every Monday at 5 p.m. UK time, 12 p.m. Eastern to talk about everything in the world of games. You can find us on podcast services everywhere, as well as on YouTube.com. I always want to say / but we don't have a fucking URL. Please, I feel like we should
subscribe to
a
us,
movement.
please.
I feel like we should start a movement to please get the giggers to 100 subs so we can have a URL. I feel like that's a movement we should start.
We only need 64 or 63 to go.
Yeah, exactly. So please, if you haven't already, please head on over to our Twitter at the GiggersYT. There'll be a link there, or just type in the Giggers on YouTube, and I think we come up.
Yeah, you should.
Or Hot Gamers Only. Just look it up. Please give us a subscribe so we can have a URL so we can shill out more easily. Thank you. Really appreciate it. If not, please give us a rating on iTunes and Google Play. We also appreciate that because it makes us look better. It's true. Oh, that's all I'm saying. We've had a lot more listeners since we got that 5-star rating after blackmailing people than beforehand. So thank you very much. It's very much appreciated.
Blackmailing people.
And if fucking Tim Cook's listening, they're real. They're legitimate reviews. We swear. They're not our friends. Anyway, moving on. This is going. Can you tell we haven't done this in 2 weeks? It's great. Let's move on. Xenoblade first impression. Xenoblade came out some point in May, end of May. Who fucking knows? We're off
the
to
28th, 2020.
Thank you.
Something
Thank
like
you,
that.
everyone.
Friday,
So, yeah,
the last Friday of May.
Let's get into our Xenoblade first impressions. Let's give a bit of a background on what our history is with the franchise. Let's start with you, Hunter. What's your history with the Xenoblade franchise?
I have played exactly Xenoblade 2, and we may have owned one of the Xenosaga games when I was younger, but I don't know for sure.
Cool. I am the same in a way. I've played both Xenoblade 2 and Torna. I haven't played X or 1. I've played these all in the wrong order. But hey, there we go. Playing 1. So me and Hunter have been playing Xenoblade 1 for the first time. And then Kyle, you can explain your scenario.
So I played Xenoblade 1 back in 2016 when it was released on the Wii U, on the Wii U's eShop. I also played X, never finished it. I played 2, I played Torna. I've also played Xenogears, and I own 2 of the 3 Xenosagas. So the third one's really expensive. It's impossible to find for less than $100 used. I don't know why.
I hate
it's just impossible.
It's insulting when the things you want to get are $50 to $100. And
I know, dude. Now there's
Grand
just
Theft Autos just there for $5.
It's like Persona 3, dude. Try and find a copy of Persona 3 that doesn't cost you a fucking mortgage sum.
So there's just a hole in my Xeno collection, and it's the last one I need. But yeah, I have a wide history with Xeno. Big fan.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to call a biased opinion. Am I right? No, I'm kidding.
Nah.
So yeah, we've got everyone.
It's not biased,
we're ranging.
Good.
Yeah.
We're all at different points of the spectrum of playing Xenoblade games. None of us are going into this blind, as in for the franchise, but we all have kind of a different perspective of it, so that'll be interesting. So I'm gonna throw it off to Hunter first, I guess. How have you been finding? We should say this first section is completely spoiler free. We're doing this a bit differently. We're gonna do first part where we talk about gameplay and just general characters stuff that isn't really spoiler related. We're gonna do those now, and then we'll say it in a bit. Spoilers, okay? We're gonna talk about up to chapter 10. Yeah,
Yeah.
10. Is that where we're talking up
the
to?
end of chapter 9, yeah.
Yeah.
The end of chapter 9, start of chapter 10, and then everything after that and Future Connected we'll talk about in a spoiler cast. So yeah, Hunter, going to you. What are your feelings? What are your initial feelings with this game? And where are you up to? I guess I should specify that.
All right.
And
Well,
how many hours, etc.
I don't actually know the hour count, but I got right to the end of chapter 9 and started chapter 10 last night. So far, I've been liking the game. The thing that I enjoyed the most about Xenoblade 2 was the interesting world and characters and, the music and stuff. And that's all present here and arguably even better. So, yeah. The combat, as far as that's concerned, it seems like there's a little less to it than there was in 2, but also I thought that the combat in 2 was kind of a chore a lot of times, and I haven't been feeling that way so much in this one.
Interesting.
Since there was more to do in the other one, arguably.
We can have a talk about that in a second. So yeah, my first impressions are I'm in similar situation, Hunter. I am in chapter 11, very start of chapter 11, I think. Something to do with Ether. That's around chapter 11, I think. Something to do with Ether. I'm on the sword.
Something like
That's
that.
where I'm on the sword.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm on the stabby sword, the seppuku sword. That's where I'm at.
I don't think it's seppuku if someone else is doing it to you.
I'd like to think
Not
that the
even a
Bionis.
little.
I'd like to think that the Bionis killed himself, but that's a different debate for a different day. Yeah, I'm at chapter 11. I'm at a similar point to you. I've made it clear. Let's talk about the gameplay. Let's get it out of the way. Let's get the gameplay out of the way so I can have this one little whine, because when we talk about the world and spoilers and characters, I've got nothing but positive things to say. I was someone that, like you, Hunter, was essentially playing when I played Xenoblade 2, and the same with lesser extent to Torna, but especially in 2, I was playing the game, and the gameplay was the thing that was kind of, I was going through the gameplay just to reach the story bits. That's what I was doing. I was playing it mainly for the story and the characters in the world and the exploration. And I was sitting with the gameplay, and I'm like, the gameplay is interesting enough, but it's tedious enough for me to also get sick of it within a while, and I'm just like kind of zoning out of it. With this game, it's the exact same way, but the combat is even less complicated, which isn't in a good way. I can literally, like, there have been points in this game where I've been able to put down the control in fights and just go, yeah, you guys have fun. I'm going to browse Twitter.
Yeah, skipping to level 50 will do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But even still, even in chapters like 9 and 10, I was still able to do that. When the enemies get to around level 40, whether in their 40s, I was still able to do that. But there's something about the gameplay this time around where it's like I can see how they went from this. I don't know what's the fancy term for this command system, Kyle. Does it have a name?
I
Like
just called it
deck
like real time combat.
Yeah, but you know how it has like the art.
It's like a pseudo MMO,
Yeah.
almost.
Oh, yeah.
I felt like it had an actual name that people used it, but like
It's like
I don't remember the name.
not Command Deck. That's Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. It does
Art
have like
wheel?
The
it
arts
has like
menu.
the
Arts
arts
wheel.
menu. It has a name for it, whatever that is. I can see how this became Xenoblade 2's combat very clearly.
Mhm.
I can see, oh, that's an evolution of all of this. But the things I don't like about the combat are, yeah, it's a lot simpler, which means it's just less engaging for me. But the main problem that I have is the control scheme. And I don't know if anyone else has felt this way, but I feel like the arts menu being mapped to D-pad is something that I've really not enjoyed. Whereas the whole thing, especially as I mainly play Shulk, I don't really move around with many characters. I haven't really played. The only other characters I've really played as are Ryan and Dunban. And then I think you had to use, like, is it Sharla
Yeah.
the sniper woman.
Yeah.
You had to use her for like one of the time trials, so I've used her like once, and then Melia has a gameplay section, so I've already played as her. But when I'm mainly playing as Shulk, he's very much a positional character, and it's having to, yes, I'm moving around trying to get into position, and it's mashing the D-pad. It feels like it would have been better on like the R2 and L2, but that's just me, and it's something you can rebind if you wanted to, but I'm just sitting with it. But there's just something about that left and right on the D-pad that I don't fuse well with, and it's just been getting to me.
That doesn't really
I don't know.
bothering me, but I can see why it would.
It's just, yeah, especially as Shulk,
I also switched
like
to
moving around. I want, yeah, I basically,
so
I've been
Good choice.
I've been wanting to move around while also being able to switch what art I'm selecting to, and it's really freaking hard to do that with it being mapped to the D-pad. But that's just me. The controls in itself are I have like a few nitpicks with, but that's the main thing about me. What about you, Kyle? What do you think about base Xeno combat?
I definitely feel like after I put like so much time into Xenoblade 2, going back to how simple Xenoblade 1's combat was kind of jarring. I remember when I first started playing the game, I was trying to like cancel auto attacks with timing my arts, and I'm like, wait, wrong game. You don't need to do that. But yeah, I can see where you're coming from with this combat. It's very simplistic, and I definitely feel like Xenoblade 2 did combat a lot better, but I've also never really been one to play Xenoblade 1 specifically for combat. It's basically if I just want to sit down with a story.
Yeah,
because I mean, there's also not really like any like advanced tech in the game with combat either. There's like topple locking, and that's it. And that's as deep as the combat goes, which isn't even that deep. It's dumb easy to topple lock enemies in this game.
Yeah, like
as you guys have probably learned.
Games that I just kind of like. This reminds me of when I was playing like Dragon Age Origins, where it was very much just kind of auto attack and then wait for your skills to reset.
Yeah,
rinse and repeat.
Very much an MMO.
Very much just wait for it. It was the characters and story that carried that game through it for me as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, my main nitpick about the controls are the left and right on the D-pad. I feel like the trigger buttons would have been a lot better, because especially with a game where it's like, oh, you need to be at a certain position on the enemy to take advantage of this move. And I'm like, that's cool, but I then have to move to that position and then fucking mash my D-pad buttons once I'm there, and then sometimes the fucking enemy will have moved, and I'm like, I've got to walk again, and it's like, I'd very much like to be able to control with the left stick while being able to change my auto arts, but again, nitpick.
So what I've always done in combat is when using Shulk, I've always like preemptively moved myself into position before selecting my art, or I've like preemptively loaded my art, my cursor to already be on the art. And then another thing that could just help with scrolling is if you hit up or down on the D-pad, it auto goes to the center. It'll auto select your talent art. So if you just want like a quick flick to that, okay. I don't know.
I have been working. It's a bit finicky, and I get why it's that way. Yeah, and I'm like, I can see why you think it works.
Because remember, this game, it was originally made for the Wii. It's a Wii game. It was made with the classic controller and the Wii Chuck in mind.
The Wii Chuck. Oh.
And that's what I'm gonna. That's the one thing I am gonna preface people by saying is it's still a Wii game at heart.
Yes.
This is not a remake. This isn't like a what if we take everything we've learned and build this from the ground up again. It's a very nice looking Wii game still. It plays better mainly because of Wii controls being garbage and Switch controls being less so, but like
there's also just a lot of quality of life changes to the game.
There's plenty of quality of life changes, which are nice.
It's easier on the eyeballs.
If you hated like questing in the original game, that's been super simplified.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah,
I haven't quested at all, really.
Do you want to talk about the quest, Hunter? What do you think about the side quests?
Well, I did like maybe 8 of them in the beginning and haven't been motivated to do any other ones.
I'm in the exact same scenario.
Shout out to Biscuit Delivery. I liked that one.
I don't know. I've done about 45 side quests actually. I've done quite a few, but the way I've been doing them was very much, I was like, I'm doing them because I need XP or whatever. And then when Kyle said that they'll say you can get to level 50 really quickly, I'm like, well, I'm not doing side quests anymore because they're fucking boring as shit. They're very much we had this discussion, Hunter, of quality over quantity, and Xenoblade has definitely gone for the quantity option. There is literally hundreds of them from what I can tell. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I go to a new area, it's like, here's 30, and these are just the first 30. You come back later, and we'll have plenty more. I'm like, oh, God.
Cut one off, and 2 more come back.
Yeah, exactly. But hey, again, Wii game. I'm not gonna nitpick about those kind of stuff. There's
Yeah.
some that are interesting. There's some that have like little quirks and like unique things to them. But
There's also some
I don't
side
know.
quests you can do that will unlock new skill branches on character skill trees.
Oh.
Mhm.
So
Just
it unlocks
interesting.
more stuff for them, and there's also some quests later that can unlock a couple Monado arts
Ooh.
that you won't be able to get otherwise. I know at least
Ah.
one of them is really helpful. Monado armor, very good. Party defense buff.
All right, I'll have to start at least reading what the quests are
Big
instead of
plus.
ignoring them.
Genuinely, like I haven't.
That's not until like late game.
I genuinely haven't. I haven't bothered with side quests since pre-Colony 6. For people that haven't played this game, it's pretty early on, pre-Colony 6. In Gower playing,
Mhm.
or as I like to call it, oh man, it's the Smash Bros stage. Wow.
Who
yeah.
else knows Shulk from Smash Bros? Leave a
dude.
like if you know Shulk from Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Leave a 5-star
no.
review.
Monado Marth.
Monado.
Marth Nado, if you would.
Marthnado, that's even better.
But yeah, I haven't done side quests since Gower playing, and I'm now way past that. I literally like going through these new locations. I'm like, oh, these look nice. What's that? Side quest? Nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna keep running through.
Just, pan the camera
with
around,
my
taking
level,
the scenery,
with
ignore
my
these
level
people
50,
that need
yeah.
help.
Because I should preface that I was later to the game than you two. The reason that we kind of pushed our first impressions is because I genuinely played 45 minutes of the game before we were supposed to record.
Yep.
So we pushed it, and then my playthrough had perfectly lined up with the speed running community for Xenoblade finding a glitch a different entrance to a previous glitch in Xenoblade 1 that gets you early level 50. And if you have not listened to our show before and listened to me talk about either Persona 5, or if you didn't listen to the Final Fantasy 7 remake spoiler cast, if there's one thing I hate in JRPGs and RPGs in general, it's level grinding. So as soon as I go, hey, you don't have to level grind for half the game, I'm like, I'll take it. And that's what I did, and that's how I got to chapter like 11 in like 18 hours. Oopsie. Let's talk about the world then. Hunter, how are you feeling about the level design and just the world in general of Bionis?
I kind of like that it's just one Titan in this one, rather than how 2 had a bunch of them. I kind of like that it's just one singular thing. It makes it feel bigger in a way, because you're just stuck on that one the whole time rather than bouncing around from spot to spot.
I'm gonna give some praise to the game now. Shocker, Kyle. I hope you're ready for this.
I was born ready.
The level design in Xenoblade 1 is way better than Xenoblade 2, in my opinion. I just think they planned out Bionis way better than they did the Titans. Don't get me wrong, I still love Xenoblade 2's world design, but it feels more like a world this time around, instead of it being a load of separated people on little islands everywhere with little places to go every now and then again, and then everything's separated.
Like a
And it's
Titan.
like, oh, all these people.
Like a Titan culture.
Yeah, it's like Mario, where you have your world for grass, you have your world for desert, you have your world for ice. It's like, that's how Xenoblade 2 was set up, right? It was, these are the ice people, and these are the desert people with the fucking trombones and
with the
shit,
great music.
And here's the Gower Plains 2 island. Okay, cool.
Gower Plains 2.
Whereas Xenoblade 1, it feels like a coherent world.
Yeah.
And, I'm not gonna lie. They can say to me, "Oh, you're on the shoulder now," and I'm like, "Sure, I am." I don't understand how I got to the shoulder, but it all feels connected in a way. Go on, Kyle. Sorry.
So it's funny that you do bring up that the world of Xenoblade 1 feels more planned out, because this was talked about in an interview with Tetsuya Takahashi from Monolith Soft when they were making the game. They had like a whole model of Bionis and Mechonis made in their office.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I just think that's really cool, and think it's funny that you brought that up.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's real cool.
it does. It feels like they planned it from the start,
Yeah.
which is nice. What should we talk about next? Do you want to talk about the characters really quickly?
Yeah.
Shall we talk without spoiling anything?
Right. I like Shulk
How-
more than Rex.
Oh, that's true. There's no way.
Yeah,
this-
that's not a
no
hot
argument.
take.
Shulk's motivations are better. Rex is just kind of a,
Rex just went
run-of-the-mill-
with the flow, like
Rex
the
is
whole game.
just kind of a run-of-the-mill nice guy who's helping out Pyra because she batted her eyelashes at him.
Yeah.
Shulk's motivations are way stronger,
Yeah.
and we'll get to that soon.
I mean, it's still very much is horny based. Let's be real here. Like, a lot of their intentions are the same. I can see why people are saying that. Oh yeah, like I can definitely see the similarities between Rex and Shulk. Like they're definitely there. And they definitely went. We want another Shulk, and then they failed at doing that.
Yeah,
And then they gave us half a Shulk.
Yeah, they
with the
genuinely.
worst outfit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Shulk is actually, other than one other character, which I don't really want to say. Actually, I can say because she's very early on in the game. Fiora. I don't like Fiora. I want to throw that one out there. I don't
Really?
like her. The first 2 hours that you spend with her, I was just like, yeah, you're a character that exists. And you feel like you're just a plot device to me. And then, not saying anything, but I was right. Whereas every other character that I've met, whether it's Ryan, whether it's Dunban, whether it's Melia or Charlotte or even Riki, who will count to Riki in a second, I really like everyone that I meet, and they feel like they gel well with everyone.
Yeah.
Like my difference here is overall the roster in Xenoblade 1 of main characters, your team, as it were. I like them more as a whole than I liked the Xenoblade 2 team, the Xenoblade 2 characters. But there
Yeah.
are certain characters in Xenoblade 2 that I liked more than any of the Xenoblade 1, if that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I
on the
feel you.
whole, it's a better
Like-
lineup, but there are some extremely good characters in Xenoblade 2, like Zeke, that are just
Morag.
missing. That I'm like, oh yeah, like you're charming, Dunbang. Don't get me wrong, but have you seen Zeke over there?
Have you
seen
met the
Zeke?
Zekinator?
I would
You know.
see those two interact.
You know, or you have like, yeah, just like interesting characters like Morag and Zeke, I feel like are kind of missing. And you still have them with characters like Melia in particular, but I feel like they gel well more in Xenoblade 1,
Yeah,
which is
Yeah.
there's less
important.
dead weight in the party as far as just people that after a little while I don't care about. Like
Yeah.
it's kind of, yeah.
and
Xenoblade 2's roster always felt really bloated to me. And I don't know if that's just because of the driver blade mechanic, making the party seem
yeah, that
gigantic.
seems-
There's
But
genuinely like 10 or 12 of them, isn't there?
yeah,
because of that, yeah, you're right.
because 5 drivers, each with one blade.
Because like
Wait, who am I forgetting?
I didn't care.
Rex, Nia, Morag,
Tora,
Zeke, and
Zeke.
Tora. Okay, yeah. So there's genuinely 10 of them.
Xenoblade 2 also just had a lot of one and done characters where like Rock was important for like a couple scenes and then he was never seen again.
Oh, yeah.
Same with
Mhm.
Poppy QT, like she was important for the end of chapter 4 and then gone.
And then it was just like a little upgrade that you.
And
could-
then Poppy
that-
was
a
Poppy
little
Alpha was
upgrade
always
that
just
I would
there.
never do in battle because I didn't use Tora after that.
Yeah, after you get Morag, Tora just gets benched.
Yeah, forever.
I actually used Tora more than you two, but
I mean, Tora's technically
as soon
the
as
best
Zeke came in,
character.
as soon as Zeke came in, then he got benched. But you know,
Yeah.
up until that point, I was like, I don't really like Nia. Goodbye.
I mean,
Right, but no.
I mean, yeah, Tora is
feelings,
technically
so-
the best character
Oh yeah,
because
technically.
Cutie Pie is broken. But we're not here to
Yeah.
talk about that.
Technically, I don't care.
But no, from a character, yeah, from a character
Technically, Ricky's
level,
great.
from a character level, you have great characters like Zeke and Morag and Pyra / Mithra to an extent, and then but you have at the bottom of the barrel, you have like Nia, and
Pandoria.
Tora, and don't even get me started on. I even forgot she existed, and like
Pandoria is irrelevant.
it's very much
Don't
yeah,
act-
Xenoblade,
She
yeah,
is
Xenoblade, yeah, it's
Zeke's
mixed
blade,
bag.
and that's all I remember about her.
It's a mixed bag. That's sure. There's some great. Whereas this, it's consistently good.
I love the whole
Um,
roster of 1.
I mean, there are still, like I said, there is one that I don't like, which is Fiora, which we'll get into story in a second, and we'll go into spoiler mode in a second as well, where we'll be like, well, we'll get into that a lot more. But
see-
Shulk I really like, just as a voice actor, just as a character.
Mhm.
Ryan is my favorite thing ever. Dunban is my second favorite thing ever. I really like Melia as a character, just in general. And then Riki is I hate Nopons with a passion. Riki is kind of the exception to the rule in a way.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
He's funny as hell, and it is just like he's annoying, but not in the way that Tora was annoying. Whereas Riki just comes in and is a dumbass the whole time. Whereas Tora was just whiny and annoying and horny. So
I love that Ricky's reason for being the hero pawn is that because he owes debt to his village,
Yeah,
he just
he's
has to be
basically,
the
yeah.
legendary hero, quote unquote.
He's basically on the dole, yeah, and he's just been like, oh, he's been outed in a prediction. I love, yeah, there's this.
There was a character
spoiler mode.
in Tales of the Abyss who got like pawned off to be in the party because of that, essentially ruining the village. It's funny.
Right, so let's quickly, finally, before we head into spoiler mode, because we've already been talking for over 20 minutes, which is crazy.
No, it's not.
Before we head into
not nearly
spoiler
enough.
mode, yeah, but I want to talk
Don't
a
worry,
lot about
Kyle.
spoilers up
you'll
until
get
this
your time.
point. So, yeah. We've talked about two things, I guess. Let's talk about this first. Music. It's great.
Oh
Godly.
yeah, it is.
It's great.
I love all the remixes.
Music's better than the game. No joke. If you don't want to play the game, at least listen to the soundtrack, because the soundtrack's really good. It's really good.
The streak of soundtracks that Ethan loves continues.
Oh yeah,
Hell yeah.
we're still rolling strong. For those of you who are not keeping track on Ethan's train of happiness, it was Persona 5 Royal and then Final Fantasy 7 Remake, and then this. So we're on a roll. No pressure for Gustavo, who's doing the Last of Us soundtrack, but you better be fucking ready. Just saying, you better be ready. You better be ready. Or else
soundtrack is just good instead of excellent, so the game gets a 0 out of 10 from Ethan.
You ruined my train. But no, it's really good. And then graphics as well. This game looks really good.
It's a huge upgrade from the Wii.
It's a huge upgrade.
I ended up watching one of the first cutscenes on the Wii version a couple days ago, just for reasons.
I did the same.
Yeah,
I did the same, and I'm so glad I never played the original.
Like, oh man, they were not joking.
Right.
It's like a horror story. It genuinely is. Like,
so I've done a lot of playthroughs of the Wii version, so I kind of got used to how the models looked. But my God, I can't go back now. This is just the best upgrade ever. The facial expressions never changed in the Wii version in any cutscene. They're fucking stiff mouths that never moved outside of talking. Their eyes never changed except for blinking. It was just like, it makes you wonder how we dealt with that for all this time.
I don't know how you did. It genuinely does make Xenoblade 1 and 2 now feel like actual, like they feel like part of the same story now.
Yeah.
They very much have decided, hey, we liked what we did with Xenoblade 2, let's make that the art style of Xenoblade now.
Yeah.
And then went back and made 1 look a lot nicer. I want to also give a shout out to the skyboxes, because the skyboxes are incredible, especially in later chapters like chapter 8 and 9 especially.
Oh yeah, I love
those skyboxes.
Nighttime in the jungle
are great. And we didn't mention it. We didn't mention it in the spoiler cast for FF7 Remake, but it has garbage skyboxes.
Oh yeah,
so
the backgrounds in that
game
were very subpar. All the animation went to the character, or all the budget went to like the character models.
It was awful, and just going from a Wii game that looks like this, now I'm like, how did Square? Why did you not put more money into the skyboxes that are in 480p? These look like Wii skyboxes, not the Xenoblade ones. But
Ethan,
no,
I'm just going to tell you this. Go to Valak Mountain at night. That place looks amazing. It's so fucking pretty.
I'll do it, probably, if you remind me at some point. Let's finally, before we head into spoiler mode, let's talk about what are your overall opinions on the story so far, Hunter?
I'd say that so far, yeah, I like it a lot. I'm more interested than I think I was in 2's plot. Like, 2 had me going as far as like, oh, this is interesting, but I put 2 down to do other things and picked it back up a lot. So I haven't felt the need to do that with this one. This one's been keeping me going.
That's interesting, because to me, it's the characters that have been keeping me going with this one, and not necessarily the motivations in the story. And I want to say this, but not in spoiler mode. I want to say, if you haven't played Xenoblade 1 or 2 yet, for the love of everything, play this one first. Because, in my opinion, just from playing 2 and understanding all of 2 and having that experience, it's great coming back to this and going, oh, I get that. Cool, at least, right? Oh, I think this. It's kind of ruined quite a few of the twists and turns this game's trying to take. Just because of knowing stuff already, I'm like, oh. And they're not that linked, right? They're not, for the most part, 90% of these games are separate, right? There's some connecting material together, right? But they're separate universes, in a sense.
In a sense, yeah.
In a sense. I'm trying to say it without spoilers.
That's as far as I can really go without spoilers.
They're separated. They're separated universe. Like, Rex and Shulk aren't on the same planet or whatever. They're separated.
Right. They're different worlds, yeah.
But there's enough that you learn from 2, and because obviously they made 2 with the intention of, you played 1 already, so now going back to 1, there's a lot of stuff that I've just clicked on, and every time they're like, surprise, I'm like, not really, I've known this for hours because I've been thinking about it too much. So...
Hey, nice core crystal, Alvis.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, exactly.
It's like, that's an interesting necklace.
So, yeah. I'd say the story, especially if you played 2, has many highs, and then it's been bouncing back and forth, but I can't really explain it without spoilers. So I'd say just, I like the story. I don't like it as much as 2's yet, but that can change. And I think it's mainly because all of 2's plot twists and turns and everything that it went through were a lot more shocking to me because I knew nothing. Whereas this one, I've kind of been able to go, oh, from this information, I can gather that this. And I'm like, just checking everything off on my list going, I'm right. And it's just not as fun for me. But, hey, we'll talk about it. It's still a good story, don't get me wrong. But... And then there's a massive trope at the start, which I'll forgive because of later, but we'll talk about that in spoiler mode. So now let's talk about spoilers up to chapter 10. This is your warning, everybody. We're going to spoil the shit out of the first half of this game. Roughly the first half of this game. Yeah. So if you haven't played now, those are our spoiler-free review. If you want to go over to our PlayStation...
That game's great, go play it.
After it, go play it. There'll be timestamps in the description. If you want to just skip to the PlayStation predictions and skip all these spoilers, then go ahead and do that. If you're on podcast services, good luck.
Sucks.
I'll leave the timestamps in the description as well. If you're driving, obviously, maybe just pause it.
If you just pull over and scroll.
Pull over. This is not a drill. We are going to spoil the hell out of this video game.
At least the first half.
At least the first, No, I'm just going to go read Wikipedia really quick and spoil everything. So now, I want you, Hunter, to say some of the things that you like before I nitpick the hell. And I do love this. Don't get me wrong, I'm loving the story, but I do want to give my perspective on things. So Hunter, you go ahead. What is making you engage with the story?
All right.
Spoiler terms.
Well, I just think the motivation in this one is a little better. Shulk has a thirst for vengeance because Metalface murdered Fiora. Quotes. And I can respect that. Compare it to like 2, where it was just kind of like Malos and Jin are off making a ruckus and you're like chasing them down or whatever. That was less impressive because it felt less personal. So yeah. That's why I've been jiving with this one more, because it's been all around, find Metalface, kill him because he's a jerk.
It's very much Shulk's story, whereas Xenoblade 2 was Pyra/Mythra's story. Featuring Rex.
It very much is that you feel in Xenoblade 1, you feel that you are on this journey because you are Shulk.
Yeah.
Whereas in Xenoblade 2, it is you're bound to this journey because of circumstance.
Yeah.
You're only important in it because
you touched
of circumstance. because you fucking died. So that's the circumstance, and we're going to talk about it. So obviously at the end of chapter 2, is it chapter 2? I think it's end of chapter 2. Fiora dies, and there's this classic film trope called fridging, which apparently no one had heard of until I'd fucking mentioned it.
Never even heard of it.
I heard of it
Have you heard of it? Cool, at least you did, because
Comes from,
literally I said this to
comes from like a
Kyle
Green
and
Lantern comic where they like murdered his girlfriend and stuck her
yeah,
in a.
it comes from comic books. It's a classic comic book trope that they transition to film, where you kill a female character. A female character has no purpose other than to die and basically be a plot point, give the male character motivation to go and seek vengeance, and that's kind of what fridging is. And that really took me out of it, because as a fan of Xenoblade 2, I have heard the amount of people from up high in the sky, in the heavens, that are Xenoblade 1 fans going, Xenoblade 2 is trash. It's just a load of tropes. And within the first 2 hours to have the fucking most iconic trope I've ever seen be plastered on the game, it just made me go, well, that's a bit bullshit, isn't it? So it was
We're gonna
just
get to the end, and everything was gonna be a dream.
yeah, it genuinely was. To have people say forever, oh yeah, Xenoblade 2's plot's nice, but it's too tropey, whereas Xenoblade 1 has a much better story, and then literally to be hit in the face with one of the most fucking obvious tropes ever in the first 2 hours, it was just like a ha moment. I was like,
Checks notes.
So no,
yeah.
yeah. So this was when I said that the game has a load of peaks and troughs for me, that was one of the fucking low points where I was like, ugh. And then Ryan started being, and then you have that moment where you're just having that journey with Ryan. And then the game started to pick up for me again, because I'm like, oh, I really like this dynamic between Shulk and Ryan. It's really good. I like it. And then we keep going. And then it hits that Charla point. And the Charla point to me is again, it's kind of just, we're introducing this character because you need a medic. And I was like,
Yeah,
cool.
basically.
And I kind of don't care about this story whatsoever. It feels like we're just kind of going off on a little side tangent for the sake of it. And then Metal Face comes into it again. And then whatever his name was, what was the other robot's name? The other face robot?
Zord, right?
Yeah, Zord shows up just for the sake of progressing the plot. Where I didn't hate that as much in Xenoblade 2, because the whole plot around Xenoblade 2 was, oh, we've got a destination, we just don't know how to get there. So the dawdling kind of felt more like, oh, they don't know what they're doing, so they're just taking it a step at a time, whereas Shulk had he's like, I'm going to get Metal Face, but then this woman shows up, like, oh, cool.
How to do that, you just have to,
I mean,
go.
They're
he was
trying
making
to
his
get
way. He was making his way, and he's like, oh, look, there's a girl, let's go talk to her and spend 5 hours with her, and then it'll just circumstantially end up taking us in the right direction.
Well, they're trying to get to the top of the Bionis, and there's only one path to the top of the Bionis.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. Charlotte just felt like it kind of just hey, we need an extra character here, and that is what she's always been to me, even including like Ricky and Melia when they've joined. She's always been the and her. She's just always been that and other character.
Yeah.
She gets more party usage than some other people, but that's only because she heals.
I get that. Charlotte's always been the one character of the group I've wanted to like more than I do, but there's just no real reason to use her, admittedly.
But yeah, it was at the Zord point where I'd already worked out what was going on, and then basically, at the end of Chapter 9, it's obviously revealed that the reason that the Monado wasn't working on the face mechon was because there were humans inside.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, HOMs. Sorry, let's get the terminology right.
You see,
the HOMs. What are you going to say, Hunter?
Oh, I passed through all that Zord stuff and like whatever cutscene it was where I assume it was Fiora's body being put into one of the mechon. I passed through that while we were like on a Discord call. So like I watched it happen, but I didn't really acknowledge it. So I didn't put any of this together until like 5 minutes before it got spelled out. And
well, the thing is, I was paying too much attention because when Metalface spoke for the first time, I'm like, that sounds awfully like that character from that intro cutscene.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, maybe they just used the same voice actor.
Like,
whatever.
It was when they flashed back to Ryan holding the Monado and cutting through the thing, but it bouncing off of Fiora at the beginning, where I was like, wait a minute, I figured out why. And then I went back to look at the beginning cutscene and listen to that dude's voice. Because I was like, Face has claws. That guy had the weird, like, Voldo guitars, you know. Yeah.
But no, that was my thing, was I kind of worked a lot of this stuff out already. I had 100%... I didn't know that Fiora was still alive, by the way. Everyone that was like, oh, you should know it because it's in the final smash of Shulk or whatever.
Yeah, it is.
I don't pay attention to that shit.
Oh, I kind of.
So I didn't know that she was still alive, but I'd already guessed it.
Also,
Yeah, I
in
guessed
Smash
that
4,
by the time
her
I-
trophy spoiled everything.
I didn't know. I didn't see it, so that's what I get for being a Smash casual.
Hell yeah.
But no,
I
I'd
also
already guessed the
think her
Fiora being alive.
I
Yeah,
also
go on.
think her spirit in Ultimate changes from Fiora to Mech Fiora
Oh,
when it
man.
hits 99. I could be wrong on that. Spirits was dumb.
Who leveled up a spirit to 99?
Me, I wanted to see what it would turn into.
Oh,
Some of them were worth it. Most of them were not. Hunter, I 100%ed that game.
oh man.
Yeah, I also 100% did World of Light.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Oh no, I also did all the challenges. It was
Oh,
awful.
did you get every spirit?
Yeah, well, not all the spirits, but
I
that
did all
wasn't
the
an
challenges
achievement.
and stuff, but I didn't. Yeah,
That
but I
wasn't an
didn't, yeah.
achievement.
So I'm not gonna do it. That's dumb. I value my sanity.
But I'll do all the achievements.
I mean, the achievements weren't hard.
Yeah, fair.
But yeah,
Anyways,
so anyway, moving back to
Back
Ethan
to a good
moans that
game.
he's too smart. Yeah. But no, I'd already worked out with the Zorg stuff. So I'd already worked out just from Zorg speaking. I was like, oh, there are humans inside. And I was like, oh, this is the whole thing, is the Mechons are going to be using humans. And I was like, okay, so Fiora's probably a Mechon. And then from there I went, okay, so who's Metal Face? And then when I heard his voice, I'm like, oh, well, he's obviously the guy from the intro cutscene. So that's where that guy went. And then that's when my mind just started spiraling, where I was just like, oh, this is where I'm just going to keep following along. So when Alvis shows up and he has a core crystal from Xenoblade 2, I'm like, well, that's spoiled. He's the fucking... he's the Aegis.
Yeah.
That made the Monado. And then when the fucking giant comes up, I don't know if you've clicked with that, Hunter, so I'm not going to say it, but I know what that fucker is as well, because Xenoblade 2 kind of fucking spoiled that for me as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of, literally everything just kept on going where it's like, shocker, I'm like, no, shock, no, shock, no. I'm just like, that's how I've been feeling about this game so far. It's just every time I'm like, yeah, this would have been cool if I was blind. Like, fully blind, wasn't thinking about Xenoblade 2 so much. But there you go. That's why I've kind of not been as into it, is because every like twist and turn of the story I've already been predicting. So there we go. But otherwise, it is a solid story. I'm enjoying it.
Mm.
The writing's a lot better
Yeah.
as well. So I
Voice
can't say
acting
that
too.
much.
Yeah,
Voice acting is a
and
huge
writing's
step
a lot
up
better.
from 2.
Yeah.
And I get the character motivation a lot. So it makes sense. I get. Well, I should say this. I get the character development for Shulk, and I get it for Dunban mostly. Those are the two where I'm like, I understand you two. Ryan's just like, I also knew it, and I'm a fucking lad. So I'm like, yeah, okay, fair play, Ryan. You get your fair pass. And then everyone else is there just cause. Like, it's just very much like
Ricky's got
Ellie
to
just
clear
wants
his
to-
debt and feed his family, man.
yeah. Ricky's got
He's
a
got to
debt.
feed his 14 children,
Yeah.
or however many he has.
Melly is there to get neared, and then fucking. And anyone that's played Xenoblade 2 knows what I'm fucking saying by that.
And all you guys.
Yeah, and all you guys, which we're gonna talk about that. I should talk about Fiora. But yeah, so then like I said, Charlotte's just there because Charlotte. Hi, smile. I'm just here in the background chilling.
Charla and Melia's story picks up later.
Does it? Good.
Yeah, they start becoming relevant again much later.
We started
Melia
chatting with
especially.
each other the last cutscene I had. I was like, oh, that's funny. At least Charlie's got some dialogue now.
Oh, with did you which cutscene is that? Is that the cutscene between her and Melia?
When Melia was gonna stay behind, and then
yeah, and she's
Charlie
like,
was
oh
"We'll
yeah,
move there," or something like that.
yeah.
We're into, feelings and whatever.
I feel like we should. The new segment, right? As I talk about how much I hate Fiora. I think it's called a Fiona. Then we're not talking about Shrek.
Shrek and Fiona, Shulk and Fiora.
Yeah,
Same difference.
We did the fucking joke waifu tier list, and then I ended up talking about why I like Tifa more than Aerith in the Final Fantasy VII spoiler cast. So I feel like we should just start like Ethan's fucking ship sailing company, dude, right? Because this is like the third week I'm going to talk about this. Mally is a much better character than Fiora. And I don't so when Shulk is doing, like, especially at the end of chapter 9 where he's like, we've got to go get her back, and then you have this whole Melia obviously is getting friend zoned this whole fucking game. That's when my perspective started to shift to Shulk. So I'm like, yeah, but Melia's a better character. I don't really care about Fiora because I only knew her for 2 hours and I hated her in those 2 hours. So
Yeah. We know Amelia more. Shulk's known her his entire life. Or
Yeah,
no,
but she just
Fiora.
looks like
Yeah.
she just looks like female Shulk.
Yeah.
So it's just I don't know.
I will say this. I've started playing Future Connected a little bit because I finished the
Mhm.
main game.
Look at you
And,
go. What a champ.
bro, I played this game 4 times. What'd you expect?
Well, you know.
Anyways, I started playing Future Connected, and I fucking love Shulk and Melia's dynamic.
Mm.
They're so good together.
Yeah, but I feel like this is a near situation where they're gonna do the whole Shulk and Fiora thing, and
Yeah,
if you're not on the
maybe.
bus, get out. And I'm like, I'm not on the bus.
Maybe.
Who knows?
I
Who
don't know.
knows? I don't.
Yeah,
No one knows.
Upside down
yeah.
smiley face.
I played Xenoblade 2.
Cowboy
I played Xenoblade 2. I know where this is going. I know where this is going. They're doing the whole. You're not gonna. You should tell him.
I mean, the
and then,
Neo love
"Oh,
triangle
I
was
don't wanna
dumb
tell
anyway.
him."
Yeah, Neo was irrelevant.
Yeah.
The difference
Melia is
The difference
between
here
Neo
is
and
that, like,
Melia is you
Shulk
care
thought
about
what's her
Melia.
face was dead.
Yeah, exactly. I kind of preferred it when she was dead, you know? I kind of did. There was a bit where I was mad at her being fridged, but then there was a part of me when I knew that when I was like, when she was coming back, I'm like, kind of wish she'd stayed dead. I feel like this would have been more interesting if she'd stayed dead.
Oh,
But,
man,
know.
that's how I felt about. Oh, never mind.
But that's a different spoiler.
I was gonna randomly spoil some other game.
Final Fantasy VII?
No, not Final Fantasy VII. It's not even an RPG.
Bitch got fridged?
Got fridged.
The most famous example.
Yeah, I can't wait to get to that if it happens.
In
Trademark.
5 years from now.
If it happens, yeah. If Nomura doesn't start pulling his fucking loopy juice out again.
Leaky juice.
The timeline can go wherever it wants. Oh god, Nomura, stop.
What
He
if
just
we
starts
send Cloud to
accidentally
Disney
writing
Worlds?
Final Fantasy VII where Kingdom Hearts should be, and Kingdom Hearts plots were Final Fantasy.
Just starts getting mixed up. Yeah, exactly.
Oh!
Cloud ends up meeting Yozora.
Oh, I'd actually
Yeah.
be down for that.
That'd be fucking sick, actually.
Bring
Make
back-
that happen.
bring- Make
But
the
no,
Final Fantasy characters important again.
Let's get back on topic. The one thing that I
Never.
am liking about the story is the one thing I am interested in is what is Mechanis's role in this story in a way. Because for very much for the first half, they very much were the antagonist, but with them using humans and all this other stuff going on, it very much, and something else that I've worked out from Xenoblade 2, I'm very interested to see what their role in this story is.
Right.
Because they very much have felt like, oh yeah, they're the big baddie, but they're kind of just been sidelined by everyone else for now.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's going to be interesting because of just kind of having an idea of where the story was to go. I'm interested to see where they play their part and why did they start using humans and what was the, like, other than to stop the Monado, and why did, like, some people like, what's his name? Metal Face. I don't know what his real name is.
I don't remember
I
his
forgot
real
his name.
either.
But, you know, why he's so, like, he's essentially proud of being a Mechanis, part of Mechanis now and stuff like that. And it's just,
Yeah.
like, it's interesting to, I want to know where that's going, in a way. That's the thing that's driving me, not fucking Shulk's determination to Fiora or any of that, or getting Fiora back. I couldn't give a flying shit about that, but the actual story in terms of Mechanis and just where this war is going to end up going and what's really happening, that's what's interesting to me, anyway, from the
Turns
story.
out Canis did nothing wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? Hunter, did you have anything else to add, spoiler-wise?
Not really. I'm interested to see where it's going, regardless. Yeah.
Cool. So there you go. Spoiler mode.
Well,
Do
real
you have
quick,
anything,
Ethan.
Cal? Go
I
on,
have
Cal.
I just have a
Go
quick
on, Cal.
question for
Just
you.
Go on, Cal.
So you said that you were guessing a lot of the plot twists that were happening, or like
Mhm.
the big plot moments. But
Yeah.
do you think that you getting those guesses correctly lessened the value of those moments?
Yes.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Not in a way of, oh, this is cool, and it's not me saying that the storytelling's flawed, because it is, because I played the sequel that that I've kind of guessed these things. But it ruined my enjoyment of them, because I'm like, oh yeah, I got it right. That's kind of the thing, you know? But
Okay.
I appreciate it still, and I say, hey, that's cool and all that. Like when you have that fight at the top, and it's like, oh, here comes Fiora, and it's like this epic moment, and the music starts playing. just because I already had figured that out, it wasn't like, oh, this game sucks now. I'm like, oh, that's good, but I'm not nearly as enjoying this as much as, say, some of the Xenoblade 2 plot twists when all the epic music starts fighting and then Van Damme and stuff like that. Anything like that, where I was like, oh, God, that gets me because I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah, because I put things together 5 minutes beforehand instead of 5 hours beforehand. Those things hit me a little bit better. I got more of the actual effect, probably because I was less tuned into the details that I should have been remembering from 2.
Yeah, and I 100% put it on me. That's the thing. I'm not putting it on the game. That's why I said in the pre-spoiler bit that I recommend that, for the love of God, play 1 before 2.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if you play 2 first, you know too much that it ruins the story of 1. From playing 1, I feel like, oh yeah, playing 1, you'd understand a bit more about the world of 2, but you could still enjoy 2. None of those twists and turns you couldn't kind of guess, from my opinion anyway, that you couldn't kind of just go and get it exactly a nail on the head, like with the whole Alvis thing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Which he still hasn't revealed, which is going to be another fucking twist where it's like, oh, I made it, or I am the Monado or whatever, and everyone will be like, oh, no fucking way, and I'll be sitting there going, yeah, tick on the list, cool. But no, it's my fault, not the game's. That's just me, and I'm not going to say it. It's a great game, and I think everyone should play it if you like this kind of game.
Who would play?
If you didn't like Xenoblade 2's combat, this game's not going to sell you on it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the look of the combat, it's not going to sell you on it unless you're really a big anime story buff. Like, you're like, I love this big epic shit that kind of is weird and
giant robots, laser swords. Fuck yeah!
Honestly, though, do you need anything else?
But no, it's 100% on me and not on the game.
Okay.
The game story is great, but I feel like I'm not enjoying the game as much as I should be because of Xenoblade 2.
Okay.
I feel like if I play these in the other order, I probably would feel differently. But I didn't. And just in terms of combat, Torna spoiled me too much to the point where now I don't want to play this combat because Torna's combat's really good. So there we go. But anyway, I'm done. Talking.
I was just curious about like how you were feeling on if you were vibing with the story or not, because
I'm vibing, but not 100%.
I've always been a believer that if you can guess the plot twists that are going to happen, it means it was a good twist.
Yeah, it means it was a good
logically.
It makes sense logically. It just kind of dampens your enthusiasm because of it, in a way. It wasn't like, oh, this is so stupid, I bet this is going to happen. It was just, oh, this means this, and I can add this up and kind of work it out in my head. And when it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool. Makes sense. It's good. But I don't get the OMG, like when the epic music's playing and it's like, Fiora? I'm not like, oh my god, this is crazy. Because it's just like, oh my I've known this for freaking hours. Like,
instead, he wrote like Metal Gear Solid exclamation point sound effect.
To put it into contrast, it's not like Nier Automata, where I knew nothing, yet I still just kind of felt non-moved by it. Like, it's not like a Nier feeling. It genuinely just is hey, I really liked Xenoblade 2 and Torna a lot, and now going back to 1, I can just predict a lot of things because 2 kind of already like kind of goes back on some of those concepts. So
Okay. I also think it's funny that you brought up Van Damme dying as like a big thing in that game.
Oh, I knew when I said Van Damme, I didn't know how to describe Mithra's awakening scene, like that.
Yeah.
Stuff. That's what I meant from Van Damme.
Okay.
Not him dying.
Mithra's
because I'm just gonna say
was the awakening.
You can see Van Damme's death coming a mile away.
Oh yeah. That's not what I meant.
You can't link any.
I didn't know how much of Xenoblade 2 we were gonna spoil, so I was just like, I thought like Van Damme was the easiest way to say Mithra's awakening without saying the whole Mithra thing. But if
Nintendo spoiled Mithra's awakening in a trailer.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that going in. So that was because I didn't watch any trailers because I just bought it out of spite for Kyle.
Neither. I didn't know that going in.
Or a strange man.
So that was like a really epic moment for me, where it's like Fiora being revealed to still be alive and to be a Mechonis now. I'm like, I guessed. Would have been cool if I didn't know, and I probably would have been like, oh, that's cool, and now we have motivation to keep going. Whereas now I'm just kind of like, I don't like Fiora anyway. I just want to sit here and hang out with Melia and fucking Rain for a bit, Ryan,
Rain and Duncan.
Yeah, Rain and Duncan, dude. Rain and Duncan.
And your Napon friend.
Napon.
I love
Ask IGN, dude.
Yeah, Duncan I don't accept. Rain and Ryan, I'm like, that's just someone reading it badly, and I can kind of get the difference between Rain and Ryan, but Duncan
Duncan
and
straight up
Dunman,
changes a letter.
Yeah,
yeah.
and how the
Whereas
whole
Rain and
name
Ryan
sounds.
it's
Yeah.
just a pronunciation difference. Like, I can get that. I'm an idiot with my pronunciations. But anyway, we've talked a lot about spoilers, and the game's still great. Go play it, just because
You guys
I'm
still
being
have a whole
salty.
half of the game to go through.
Yeah, it could all change. We could come to the spoiler cast. I'm like,
Forget
that's
everything
epic.
you know.
Yeah, exactly. Forget what you know. Except I feel like I know some other stuff coming up. We'll see. Let's move on. So there you go. You're free. If you're back, you're back. Hey guys, how's it going?
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome
We
back. We
missed
just
you.
talked for
Yeah.
23 minutes about how Ethan nitpicks the story because he's too good at guessing.
Because
There you
he's
go.
pretentious.
Yeah, because I have opinions that differ from the norm. Ooh.
God, don't go on the Xenoblade Reddit. You'll get eaten alive.
Unpopular opinion, I don't like Xenoblade 1 as much as everyone else.
Random, some British guy hates Xenoblade 1.
I don't hate it. I really like the game. I really like the game.
This battle music
let's-
is as good as Persona 5's.
I'll tell you that it's not as good as fucking Xenoblade Torna's, dude. Torna's battle music, mwah, dude.
Bro, I just
that
wanna-
shit.
That is a really good
Mwah.
song.
One
Mwah.
last detour. Future Connected changed the main battle music. So fucking good.
Oh,
Yeah, I will play Future Connected.
It's
Don't
so
worry, I'll play
fucking
Future
good.
Connected.
It's so jazzy. I love it.
And I can't wait for everyone to say that it's 10 hours long and I'll beat it in 3 because that's the kind of person I am. Smile.
I mean, the casual. This is speedrunning. The casual mode speedrun is like under 40 minutes.
Oh wow, okay. I was thinking
Yeah.
it was like a big old expansion.
No, Torna,
Okay, no,
it
it's
is
like-
not.
You know, it's like everyone said.
It's just a
everyone
bonus
said Xenoblade.
episode,
Yeah, everyone said
basically.
Xenoblade 1 takes 60 hours. And I'm sitting here at 18, over halfway through, going, huh?
Well, maybe don't grind to level 50 at the start.
Yeah, but then I
mean,
looked at our Lord and Savior Chugga Conroy's playthrough.
119 episodes.
Bless up to Chugga Conroy. I looked at how much time he'd spent at this point in the story, and he was only like 3 or 4 hours ahead of me. So I was like, I feel like everyone's just exaggerating.
I don't feel like I have much more time clocked than Ethan, and I haven't broken the
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're taking 80 hours, then God bless you for putting up with those side quests. Anyway, we're moving on. I love the game, I swear. I'm just being a little...
I mean, the side quests got so much better.
They
nice.
are.
It's
They
nice
are.
that it just marks it on your map where shit is, and you don't have to stop and go to Xenoblade Wikia every time you get a quest.
Yeah, nice. You know, I'm actually changing. I put the timestamp down for 2 seconds earlier. I'm gonna put it now because we carried on talking about Xenoblade. So now everyone should be back. Hi.
Welcome back again.
Welcome back
Yeah,
again.
welcome back again. We have one more little topic before we wrap this show up.
Hang on, one
Um,
more thing about Xenoblade.
Only kidding.
You have a spoiler cast. There will be a spoiler cast probably by the end of maybe this month.
End of the month.
Hopefully.
End of the month.
End of the month.
End of the month.
And
End of the month.
What else is going on this month? Nothing.
Last of Us. Me
Nothing.
and Hunter have like a weekend to finish Last of Us. That's what we gotta do.
yeah,
We're gonna be done with it within like 3 days anyway. But yeah, other than that, it'll be out by the end of the month. So last week we said that until we pushed it back, we were gonna do some PlayStation predictions, and then we were like, we're pushing it back, so we won't do it. And then PlayStation delayed their conference again, so here we are. PlayStation predictions, everyone! Hooray!
Woo!
So the whole idea is PS5 is having a games showcase. I think they specify that it's a game showcase, showing you what's going to be available on next gen at launch and beyond is their term, which is what I like to call. We have like 5 games for launch, and then everything else is beyond. So I asked everyone to come up with a couple of predictions. I came up with way too many.
I
it's
came
okay,
up with
we
way
got,
too
like,
little.
2 apiece over here.
So what I'm gonna let you, Hunter, say the ones that we know that we both have, so that you have more to say.
All right.
So
Oh.
Hunter, give us a PlayStation prediction, dude.
First things first, Horizon Zero Dawn, launch title or very close to launch window? The sequel to that, whatever they want to call it, Horizon 2 Judgment Day. I don't care.
Horizon 1 Dawn.
Oh, I hope not.
It'd be funny. No, I've got the exact same. Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is announced, and I said that it will release next spring, and I've specified that it will not be a launch title.
Ah,
I said next spring. If I was to guess, I'd say February because the last one came out in February, so that'd be my guess.
February's in the winter.
Yeah, late February though. Late February, early March. You know what mean? Late February, early March.
He's
Fuck
right.
off. Yeah, he's got a point, dude. He's got a point. Kyle, what was yours?
So the only thing I could think of was a reboot of an old IP, like an old PlayStation Nation mascot, like Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, Sly Cooper, something like that. An old platformer thingy.
I've also specifically said that Insomniac will announce a new game and it will be a new Ratchet and Clank. It won't be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's what I've said. Because it's been like 4 years since the last Ratchet and Clank, and I feel like it's time.
With the movie tie-in, yeah.
And Insomniac has multiple teams, so I wouldn't be surprised if they've been working on it for a while.
Now,
I also just think that announcing a reboot of an old IP would definitely help sales. So
probably.
And that's my one guess.
Is that your only guess?
At Twitter.
Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, you can guess some of mine. Here's one of my great ones. I'm just gonna go with a lowballer because the new Crash game is announced. Is a launch title, might launch earlier on last gen, but it will definitely be at launch for PS5. And I've said that there'll be some gimmicky PlayStation exclusive content for no reason. Whether it's Crash wears a stupid hat or something, it'll be something garbage like that. But there'll be some kind of PlayStation exclusive thing.
PlayStation logo right on his jean shorts.
Exactly.
Right on the back
on his
pockets.
ass. On his ass, dude. Yeah, exactly. PlayStation branded ass.
Oh man.
But yeah, I feel like we know there's a new Crash game coming, so it's time to show it, and it'll probably be shown at Sony because Sony's done a lot for Crash recently. So there you go.
And in the beginning.
Yeah, and in the beginning, but Sony was basically the people that went to Activision to make them make an ST. So
yeah,
I feel like there's. Go on, Hunter. Do you have anything?
Alrighty, so Blue Point's game. The heavy rumors are Metal Gear Solid or Demon Souls. Screw that. I'm gonna be.
Those also. Yeah,
the rumors about Silent Hill. Blue Point. That's their game.
Oh,
they're remaking
nice.
Silent Hill.
That's cool. My Blue Point one is also there was a rumor that started this week that I don't think anyone's heard of because I don't know if it's real or not. The Blue Point might be also have been working on remastering Bloodborne for PC and PS5.
Oh,
so that's also a rumor.
It's barely.
But
whatever.
They're basically making it 4K 60 for PS5 and PC. That's what they're doing. They're making it actually run like a decent video game instead of at 20 FPS like the regular.
Hopefully the
Bloodborne does.
Like 5 years.
My Blue Point one is a lot less specific than yours. It's Blue Point's new game is revealed. It's not Demon Souls. I will accept any. I just don't think it's Demon Souls.
Oh man.
So
same prediction. High five.
Nice, dude. We did it. Congrats. I feel like it'll be very fun. It'll be funnier for me when I get it wrong because if I say it's not Demon Souls, that literally means any other game is a win, and if it's Demon Souls, I lose. Dude, so I'll be like, oh fuck, I got that one.
That would be really funny.
I'm gonna give you 3 because they're the exact same. This is what I was saying beforehand because these 3 are Sega announces something that 0 people care about, probably some Sonic shit. That's my first one of the 3. Oh. My second one is Square Enix announces something 0 people care about, probably Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy spin-off. And then my third one is EA announces some sports game 0 people care about. There you go. Those are the 3. Yeah. Oh no, there's a fourth one. There's a fourth one.
Oh my lord.
Fortnite is showing running for next gen and 0 people care about it because it looks the exact same.
Slap on some fancy ray tracing.
Yeah, there you go. So there you go. That's 4 out of the way. Yes, Sega's probably going to announce something because they always do. I feel like Square Enix always announces something at a Sony conference, and I don't think it's going to be remake part 2. I don't think.
Oh, not yet. No. But now that you mention it, this seems like so Square. Several years ago, they had like a tech demo called Agni's Philosophy or something, And the concept around that is what's been rumored to be what Final Fantasy 16 is going to be. So maybe they'll do that.
I should have said Final Fantasy 16. Bollocks, I should have said that.
So maybe they'll do that. That would be cool.
Oh, that still falls under something Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy. I said Kingdom Hearts spin-off or Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
But there you go. But yeah, I agree. And then EA always shows something, so it'll be EA something. Do you have anything else, Hunter?
Okay, so back when the PS4 got released or got announced, there was this game from Capcom called Deep Down that was supposed to be a launch title. It was like this dungeon crawly type thing with like co-op or something. It never came out, but it has not been officially canceled yet. So they are going to fulfill their promise to make this game a PlayStation launch title, except it's going to be for the PlayStation 5.
Oh, nice. Okay, nice.
I completely believe that will happen, smiley face.
How many more do you have?
Basically the same concept there, except apply it to Dead Island 2.
Okay, is that the only one you have left?
I think so.
Save that. I'll say mine. I've got a couple. I've got like one really easy bet is the new COD hasn't been announced yet, so that'll probably be announced if it hasn't already beforehand.
Activision
that was an easy, that was an obvious one. I'm gonna leave that one because that one's a pretty fucking. If I get that one right, that'll be fucking funny. So I'll go with these other two. Rocksteady finally teases what game they've been working on for like 6 years.
Oh man!
And it won't be what anyone's ever. It won't be what people are thinking it is. It won't be a Superman game.
It's going to be
anything of the sort. It'll be something.
Some weird zombie game.
It'll still be an IP, I think, but I think Rocksteady is making a game that isn't a superhero game, in my opinion. But it might be something else in Warner Bros. Library of IP. And to go along with that, here's another one for you. Either Warner Bros. Batman game or Harry Potter game that are the worst kept secrets in gaming history are announced. Not both. And whichever one is revealed, people wish that it was the other one instead because they'll be salty. So there you go. They'll either announce the Harry Potter RPG or the Batman game that WB Montreal's been working on.
I just thought of another possibility. Resident Evil 8 teaser.
That's strong. That seems right because they always like doing those at Sony conferences, so that's a strong one. My final big baller one for all the money.
All the money.
All the money.
Marbles.
Sony Santa Monica announces a new game that's not God of War sequel. They are from what I've read, they're a multi-studio team. They've been working on multiple projects, and there's been a rumor for a while that Cory Barlog, who was the lead on God of War, isn't leading God of War 2. He's just writing it. So my guess is that Sony Santa Monica announces a new game. It's a new IP, but it's not God of War.
Brand new IP, that'd be fun.
Yeah, and that's my final one. If I get that one right, that'll be fucking hilarious.
So it'd be funny if you got that one wrong or got that one right and got the Demon Souls one wrong. Everyone said Demon Souls for so long at this point, and that I'm just like... I've been hearing Demon Souls and Metal Gear Solid, and like at this point I've been hearing them so much I don't believe either of them.
MGS deserves it better, though, because MGS, they can actually do a remake
MGS was actually like different. Old.
Yeah. Whereas Demon Souls is just... They're going to say, oh, it's a remake of Demon Souls, but it'll be the same freaking game. But they'll probably add difficulty options or something
to trigger people. Hardcore fans real upset.
Yeah, exactly. So there we go. I think those are our PlayStation predictions. Tell us if we're wrong or not, because we won't know. Because we're not going to watch it. We're never going to. We won't watch it. We don't talk about games.
Yeah, fuck PlayStation.
We don't talk about video games, dude. We don't talk about video. Yeah, we're an Xbox podcast.
Absolutely.
Oh, what's out this week? Nothing. Cool. See you next week, guys. For more nothing. I'm joking.
This week, nothing. Next week, who knows?
Probably not. Oh, there's a Halo game coming out. Oh, cool.
Bad, I don't care.
Oh, yeah. Our Xbox showing a car again on stage. It must be time for a new Forza. Oh, baby.
Yo, when's that new Battletoads game coming out?
Oh man,
Oh, I hope they've worked on that art style.
that one that looks like it was just made in Adobe Flash.
That gives Adobe Flash a bad name. We're just shitting on Xbox for no reason at the end of the show.
That's a
there's
bit
always
harsh.
a reason.
'Cause it seems like they're taking steps to try and go in a better direction.
Hey, I've said
Yeah,
this. I
unnecessary.
said this. If Xbox, I've said that the day that Xbox starts caring about their exclusives and actually make some good shit is the day I'll buy an Xbox and
You see,
stop
it's a
complaining about it.
double-edged sword because, like, if they do actually make things that I'm gonna want, I'm gonna be like, oh man, I have to buy another console. I
Yeah.
want to actually have to buy another console.
Yeah, but I also want good games to be made.
Yeah,
so, you know,
exactly. Like,
especially when they have people like Double Fine. Double Fine makes some good stuff. So I'm gonna be sad that I won't be able to play Double Fine stuff anymore. So I will probably end up having. I mean, they're on PC, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna play PC games. Rarely do I play a PC game. But
Mhm.
anyway, we've kind of gone off topic. I guess we should wrap the show up. So, Hunter, where can people find you?
youtube.com/ReaperHunter23.
Oh, wonderful. Kyle.
You can find me
What?
on Twitter at KDavisSRL and also on Twitch, twitch.tv/KDavisSRL.
Wonderful. And you can find me somewhere in a field.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like a scarecrow.
Yeah, you can just find me. You can just find me stuck in my house because I'm still here.
Ethan's just chilling out in one of these Ohio cornfields that my area is famous for.
I wish, dude. I wish. But when I'm not in an Ohio cornfield, you can find me at youtube.com/WaterJames.
That was perfect.
And you can keep up to date with whenever videos get made. Probably this year, who knows? Twitter.com/WaterJames_. You can keep up to date with everything Hot Gamers Only at twitter.com/TheGigersYT. Make sure to subscribe. Get us to 100 subscribers, please.
We
Yeah,
need
it's a
that
real sad
URL.
state when I've got my own URL and the podcast doesn't because I got
I feel like we should go around to our friends going, please subscribe, please. If you all tell 5 friends to subscribe, we can get there. I believe.
Are we making a pyramid scheme right now?
Yeah. You tell
Oh my
5 friends to subscribe, and then they'll tell another 5 to subscribe, and we'll just keep going.
Yeah.
It's not illegal because there's no money involved. Just subscriptions
exactly.
to our YouTube channel.
Just a URL for us.
Yeah,
exactly. We just want a URL that probably won't
then
be
all
available. We'll have to have some
Patreon.
garbage URL. Yeah. Oh yeah. 100 subs and we'll set up a Patreon so you can throw money at us, guys.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can throw money at ourselves. But anyway, that's our show. Thank you for listening. As always, we're here every Monday at 5 p.m. on podcast services everywhere and on YouTube and SoundCloud. Other than that, I think we've said everything we need to say. So we'll be back next week. Next week on the show, who knows? Because I don't.
Probably another topic episode.
Either topic or PlayStation if they've decided that they want to do their show. We'll know.
Yeah.
We'll never know. We'll have to wait to see what. Because unlike Shulk, I can't see the future, and there we go. We're bringing it back.
Yeah,
Right back to
bring
the
it back.
bringing it back. But yeah, there we go. That's our show. Thank you all so much for listening, and we'll see you next week for more hot topics in gaming. Until then, bye.
See you later.
Toodaloo.